Pramod, let's start. We are above 50 now.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to another webinar conducted by IEEE SB GCW and Placement Cell GCW in association with GCW Alumni Association Bangalore chapter. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Atul Sundaresan, Chairman, GCW Alumni Association Bangalore chapter, to introduce the speaker to all of you.
Thank you, Nina. Good evening, everyone. As part of IEEE Government Engineering College Wayanad and Placement Cell collaboration webinar series, today we have Mr. Shinto Joseph with us for giving a session on presentation skills. I would like to take a few minutes to introduce him. Mr. Shinto Joseph is currently working as a director, South Asia, East Asia, Africa, operations at LDRA India. He did his BTech in computer science from GKM Engineering College, Kerala, and MBA in marketing from Christ Bangalore, where he's currently, the president of MBA Alumni Association. He has 23 years of experience in handling embedded software lifecycle solution. He's highly passionate about innovation, skill building initiatives, and authored many papers in the industry, academic, and government forums. As an active member of several industries, academic, professional bodies, he works very closely with several government bodies, academic, and safety security organizations. On social front, he has, I believe, he has done more than at least 100 sessions till now. I'm not sure. Please correct me in the comments, sir. He's done with a lot of associations, a lot of colleges, a lot of people he has done sessions. Personally, him first 9 years after me getting introduced to the Kerala Engineers Association Bangalore. And അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ ഫാമിലിക്ക് സത്യത്തിൽ ഈ ഒരു കൊറോണയ്ക്ക് ശേഷമാണ് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ നേരിട്ട് കാണാൻ കൂടുതൽ നേരം അദ്ദേഹത്തോടൊപ്പം സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ സമയം കിട്ടുന്നത്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അദ്ദേഹം ഓൾവേസ് ഇയർലി ഒരു 300 ഡേയ്സിലും ഹി യൂസ് ടു ട്രാവൽ. Sir, it's my privilege and honor to invite you for the session. Over to you.
Thanks, Arjun. First of all, today it is Saturday evening, right? I really appreciate because it's a long weekend with holidays. Still, people showing interest to attend this session. This subject, presentation skills, normally it is a bit neglected one because we engineers normally feel that engineering field means if technical knowledge is there, my engineering degree, my engineering subject knowledge will take me to heights in my career. But believe me, guys, I have been in industry as a technology company head for quite some time. Parallelly, I do spend a lot of time with the skill initiatives, career workshops. That is because that is my passion area. But I've seen in my life, after seeing thousands of professionals across the world, not only in India, because directly I handle like India, another 10 more countries except China and Pakistan, because we do a lot of with the defense. So we decided we will not touch those countries. My experience is that our career success predominantly depends upon your ability to communicate, your ability to lead people. So even if you want to become a good leader, your ability, communication skills plays a role. In communication itself, your ability to present something to others. So communication is a huge area. So I'm going to focus today primarily on the presentation aspects of your communication skills. For example, today you're going for an interview. Anything. You want to present something to anybody. It is your ability to communicate. The presentation aspect of your communication is what matters. So I got about maximum 5-6 slides. That's it. So for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to talk mostly about sharing some of my experiences, some of my tips for you budding engineers when you want to come up in your career in life. how you could build your presentation skills, how you can improve upon, and some ideas. Thereafter, what I will do now, I'll take questions from you. I think the chat window is enabled. So whenever you feel like you are putting a question, you put it. I'll try to take as many questions towards the end. Today I have no commitments. So as far as you guys take back, I'm ready to take questions. Now, one more thing. നിങ്ങൾ പലർക്കും ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ചിലപ്പോൾ കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുണ്ടാകും എനിക്കറിയാം. ഒരു പ്രശ്നമില്ല. ഞാൻ വളരെ കഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട് ഒരു ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ടിൽ നിന്ന് വന്ന ഒരാളാണ്. പാലായിൽ നല്ലൊരു മലയുടെ മണ്ടയിൽ ജനിച്ച് ഭാഗ്യത്തിന് ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന്റെയും പേരൻസിന്റെയും ബ്ലെസ്സിംഗ് കൊണ്ട് കരിയറിൽ കയറി വരാൻ ഭാഗ്യമുണ്ടായ ഒരാളാണ്. സോ ഐ ക്യാൻ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് യു. അതുകൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് നിങ്ങൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ ചോദിക്കുമോ, ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ ടൈപ്പ് ചെയ്യൂ, എങ്ങനെ വേണമല്ലോ, വട്ട് എവർ ലാംഗ്വേജ്. I understand at least a couple of languages. So I'm open. Good. So with this understanding, we will start. I'll just share my screen. Can you guys see my slide? Can anybody confirm it?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So this is what I wanted to cover. Communication is an ocean, as I told you, right? Broadly, we can classify into three on the basis of relationship. So when I say relationship means whether it's a formal relationship or informal relationship. For example, the relationship what you have with your professor having his relationship with the principal, they're all very formal relationship. So the managers who report to me in my company, they're all professional relationship, formal, very formal relationship. Now the informal ones are the way you communicate to your classmates. Hey, macha. Hey. So that is the informal thing. But quite often what happens is the informal one is more effective than the formal one. Even in your college, more than the principal, to be frank, the people at the lower level will have more information what is happening inside. How do you get it? It is through this informal, the gossips that we are talking. Hey, that girl and this guy, something is happening between them, which even your professors or your HODs, nobody will know. So that is what we call it the grapevine. It's very important because most of the time, the information pass through grapevine inside, provided if it is positive. Many times we hear a lot of nonsense also as part of that. Then based on the flow, whether it's vertical or horizontal. So like the principal sending out a circular to the departments giving it to the professor giving to students. That is a vertical communication. So it can be upward or downward also. For example, you put a complaint to about your mess, put a couple of people write to the principal. The communication goes upward, right? So it could be horizontal also. So, for example, one HOD communicating to the next HOD, one professor in the same department communicating to the next professor, again in a formal language. That's a horizontal communication. On the basis of expression. So this is the area where we are going to discuss a little more. When you're presenting something, your expressions comes into picture. For example, today I'm talking to you, right? My ability to bring the expression on my face matters a lot in terms of getting the audience convinced. So this is an area where we are going to discuss a little more in depth. Is my camera on? Let me check that. Arjun, can you confirm that the camera is on, right?
Yes.
Cool. The reason is actually you guys closely watch how I use my face, how I use my hands in terms of bringing the expressions, whatever I am telling. Okay, in that itself, we have two parts. One is the verbal part, and one is the non-verbal part. The verbal part is nothing but the words which I bring it during my discussion. It could be even what is there in the slide also, right? It's also verbal expression. The non-verbal is nothing but my body language. How I use my face, how I use my eyebrows, my hands. So the smile I bring on my face, right? And any kind of expressions which are even negative also. For example, some people you have seen when they present something, every time they do this, they scratch their back, all kind of things they do. So they are all coming under the non-verbal part of it. So in verbal also, we have the oral and written. Again, now I'm going to focus more on the oral part, what I talk, right? And the interesting part, even written also, there's also a way of communicating. Now I want to get some input from you guys about how you feel about the verbal versus non-verbal communication. What is the importance? How much your verbal communication is important compared to a non-verbal communication? Means the words what you use is how far it is deciding the effectiveness of the communication compared to the facial expressions, your hand movement, eyebrow movement, all sort of things. Any wild guess? Anybody wanted to give any idea? How far that would be the percentage? 50%, 60%, 100%, the words part. Anybody? 10%? Pardon?
70%.
75%? Any other answers? The study says actually the importance of the verbal part of your communication in terms of deciding effectiveness is to the tune of maximum 20 to 30%. Maximum 20 to 30%. Means on an average, 70 to 80% of your effectiveness of communication resides based on your non-verbal part. Means your ability to bring your facial expressions, your hand movement. That's exactly. So this is a myth we all have, right? We talk a lot, we put a lot of things in your slides, but eventually that has got nothing to do with in terms of deciding the effectiveness of a presentation. So I will compare now a presentation to a train. Now we look at a train, how the train looks like, right? Train has got three portions, right? One is the engine, then you have the bogies, and then you have the last compartment, which you call the tail. So my presentation also I will compare with a train exactly. Means typically any presentation should have a good introduction. So look at the train. When you look at the train, suppose the train is the engine is so ugly and filthy, you feel like what type of train it is. Now you see the metro trains which are coming. The front portion itself is so nice, and you have some very modern trains which are coming. The engine itself is so nice to see. So you feel oh, such a good train which is coming. So first we always say, first impression is the best impression. Now I don't know how many people have done proposing. I have done that very successfully. That's right. So when you want to propose to a girl, what do? You do a homework, and your first impression is the best impression, right? So you try to do a good introduction. When you're going for an interview also, again, just keep it in mind, the first 3 minutes of your interview decides whether you're in or out. Repeat, the first 3 minutes of your interview decides whether you're in or out. If you're in means the interviewer has to decide why you are in. If you are out means the interviewer has to find a justification why you are out, find reasons for it. If that is the case, the most important thing is doing a good introduction about yourself, right? The first impression matters. So for every presentation, the introduction, how you bring it, because introduction, what you give it to a teacher's crowd is different. Because everybody would like to listen in their own language. So I'll give you again comparing to the proposal part. You propose to a girl. What do? First, you will find out what dress she likes, what food she likes, what music she likes, whether she likes cricket or badminton. You do a systematic spy work on her to understand what she or he likes, and then you try to prepare what strategy you should follow. So this is where I will say your homework about doing a good introduction matters a lot. Using the right words, This is a tip for your next interview also. Thereafter, the last portion is the conclusion, typically the tail of the train, right? So in between, the points what you want to mention, please bring it. The points could be based on the time available to you. Means, suppose you get only 5 minutes. Introduction, couple of points, and the conclusion. Without a conclusion is nothing but a call for action. Suppose you go for an interview, somebody tells you, okay, I'm giving you next 4 minutes. Tell me, why should I hire you? You can expect this question. Why should I hire you? You should have a good introduction report. You should have 2-3 points, which is telling what you are good at, and you should have a reason why should the company hire you. That's where you conclude, right? So any presentation, think about the time available to you. Based on that, you decide the number of points you bring in. Too many points, sorry, it makes your life miserable, because brain works in a sequential way. I've seen many people talking non-stop. They keep on talking. But if you understand how the brain works sequential way, normally. So there is something called, you have the RAM and the ROM. So in between, you have the buffer. So if you pump too much of information into the buffer without a delay, what happens? Nothing goes to the ROM area. So your presentation becomes a waste exercise. A presentation is measured based on the impact what it creates, right? So you have seen some politicians talk fantastic way. After the presentation, the audience feel like getting up and running. So the objective is basically to create the impact on people. So you decide how many points you should have based on the time available to you, and structure it. Don't overload your presentation with too many compartments. In a train, if you put too many compartments, what happens? The train will not move. The engine will not be able to pull it through, right? So that's exactly. Now, let me take you to the ABCD of communication. Okay. A means accuracy. Whatever you talk, people should feel it is accurate. And I'll come back to this slide. B means brief. I'll explain this a little more in detail. C means clarity. And D means diction. E means eye contact. Try to recollect these 5: accuracy, brief, clarity, diction, and eye contact. Let me stop sharing this. So now you can see me, right? So accuracy means, whatever I talk, you should feel that, I am talking accurately. Means I should be having proper evidence, especially when you're talking to engineers. Engineers tend to believe in figures, means used on mathematics, percentages. Suppose you talk to art college students, don't use percentages and calculations to them, because they hate percentages and calculations. So depending upon the audience, what you talk, again, you can quote some, Mahatmas and gurus, or some statistics from some research reports. That all give you validity of your argument. People should feel that you're talking accuracy. For example, if I come here and talk to you, say, I'm talking very accurately, guys. You won't believe me, because unless you feel that, I'm talking accurately, right? So it should be brief. Don't talk too much, to the point. Bring your points to the point. Because as I told you, right, overloading with too many points, no use. The third one is clarity. Whatever you talk should be clear to people. First, it should be clear to yourself, if you're presenting. You should be clear about what you're talking. I've seen many people talking, they have no idea what they are talking at all, because he himself is not convinced about it. Second aspect of clarity is clean our tongue. It also matters. You can see some people talking, right? Because nobody knows what he has spoken. Sometimes they do it deliberately also, right? Because they don't want you to understand what he has spoken. We are not in that category. We want to be very sure that, whatever you're talking is clear to us. So after C, this D, diction. Diction means where you stress, depending upon, in a sentence, where you stress, depending upon that, the meaning completely changes. So you have n number of examples. Okay, let's take something from your class itself. Okay, yesterday, last week you had your, which exam? Say, one subject exam you had. So I'm not taking any particular subject, because you might be from multiple departments. So X subject exam over and results are out. And so you take somebody, some name, say Thomas, some Thomas. Sorry, I don't know any Thomas in your class. Some Thomas. So your classmate said, hey, Thomas passed. Thomas passed the exam. Thomas passed the exam. See, only 3 words, right? So I told this way, you heard it, and the moment the other fellow reacted, Thomas passed the exam. See the reaction. Thomas passed the exam because you never expected Thomas passing the exam. Thomas passed the exam. See, depending upon how you stress, where you stress, Thomas passed exam means you expected him passing something else, maybe in a fight or something. You were expected that he will pass an exam. So depending upon where you stress, the meaning completely changes. So this also helps you in in changing the monotonous nature of your presentation. There are people talking in a very like a dead body. I use that word. I've seen many people presenting. Imagine like this, somebody talking in your class, or somebody is talking on the stage. Gone. Even in a classroom, I'll tell you, a regular classroom, forget online, 15 minutes. So the 16th minute, a class student's attention is gone. Normally, normal students, more than 16 minutes holding attention for a teacher itself is practically impossible. Imagine the online classes. You don't even get even that also. So it is very important that, even for teachers, even for professionals, even for students, and eye contact. Eye contact is very important. For example, today when I talk, especially if you're conducting an online session, or even otherwise also, talk to people looking at their eyes. The reason, as human beings, the most powerful weapon in communication area, what God has given is our eyes. Eyes is very powerful. You don't know the power of your eyes. You look at somebody, people will look at back. Now again, for guys, especially for guys, when separating food for you, when you talk to girls, look at into their eyes and talk. Not anywhere else. Not anywhere else, I repeat. Tomorrow when you go for an interview also, talk to a lady who is interviewing you. Look at her eyes and talk. Not anywhere else. Because I've seen a number of times people making this mistake. Knowingly or unknowingly, we look at somewhere else. So people like talking, looking at eyes and talking. So eye contact is very important. Eyes can, it is very attractive. It can pull people. So it should be accurate, it could be brief, it could be clear, it could be having proper diction, and you should maintain your. Now let me take you through a small video. Okay, we'll come back to this presentation after that. Second. So here I'm going to share you some examples of good and bad presentations. Just go through this video, okay? I hope you can see this. I hope this is audible to you guys. Okay, the first one is do not carry any items to the presentation table. Many times we make this mistake. We carry a lot of things and we goof up the whole thing. The next one. When you're going to present something, wear a proper dress. When you're going for an interview also, please wear a proper formal dress. Don't go in t-shirts. Doesn't mean that, wearing very expensive and no. Whatever you have, get it washed, iron it properly, and wear. That's it. And take bath. Okay, at least on that day when you're going for an interview, please take bath. It's very important. And combing your hair, And it's a style nowadays. People saying that I am a yo-yo. I will show my interview board how bad I am. Sorry, they're not here to take you. They want a professional. Yep. Do not read from the screen. Please don't show your back. Please show your face, because God has given you a very good face, right? Show that. Why you're showing your back to somebody, right? Yeah. Again, if suppose you are having a slide, the slide should have minimal content. Did you notice what I was doing today? I had only 5 or 6 slides for a 40-45 minute session. You've seen the impact, right? Suppose I had made 20-30 slides and shown you a presentation, it would not have been impacting so much on you. So you can have slides, not an issue. But I'll tell you, slides are not a must at all. Suppose I was doing this session in your campus, I would not use a single slide, because I want people to listen to me, not to my slides. Yep. Please avoid using a phone in your interview. My recommendation tomorrow, if you're going for any presentation, even for an interview, if you're going for an interview, at least half an hour before, keep your phone on silent mode. Do not attend any calls, because a single call that is coming to you can make you disturbed, and your presentation or interview is totally gone. Do not get disturbed. People like me, I'm in this industry. This is my 3rd decade. I got used to it. I take calls. There might be a disturbing call, but then I switch. Get into the next presentation or meeting. That comes with experience. Once you become a hardcore professional, but that takes time for you. So for the time being, I suggest, please do not take phone in between any kind of discussions. Some people show as a show off. Sorry, an interviewer or audience is not sitting there to see your show, right? I'm having a presentation right now. Yeah. The value for customers, clients, partners. Yeah, this is where I was telling, right? Use the swing mode or a proper diction in terms of stopping somewhere, in terms of stressing somewhere. Please don't do this monotonous talk. People hate it.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, you explained about eye contact. How it is possible? Because suppose I have eye contact with you.
Do you mind parking it in the chat area? Yeah, please.
Chat area. Can I?
Am
I audible?
Park it in the chat area.
No?
We will have a detailed QA towards end. That be okay?
Yeah, just a minute.
Please park the questions. After 45 minutes, I will stop it and take all these questions. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
It's a very good area what you told me, so we will cover that part in more details. Do not fold your hands. Keep as I told you, non-verbal play a major role. So use your hands as much as possible. I've seen many people putting your hands in pockets. Please don't do that. Free up your hands. Use it as much as possible. Writing does not mean task or omission. Yeah. So please don't read anything from anywhere. Your eyes should be looking at the audience, because especially the backside of the audience. The reason I will tell you, as I told you, the most important weapon in our body, what God has given, is your eyes. So keep looking at everybody in the crowd. Keep looking at everybody in the crowd, especially the ones who are sitting in the back row. The reason I will tell you, the ones who are sitting in the back row are mostly the troublemakers. I'll tell you, as per the normal norms. But I will tell you, there are smart guys like me. I used to normally sit in the front row and sleep. Nobody used to catch me. So try this technique next time. If you want to sleep in a class, the right place is go to the front row. Open your eyes and sleep. Nobody will catch you. I've tested and practiced all these things in in my studies time. Experience talk, right? So now we'll see some good examples of good presentations. So have a formal dress, right? No more informal, no t-shirts. Okay, this is a very delicate area. I've seen some people giving handouts during presentation. Very carefully you should do that. For example, if you're going for an interview, okay, you can give your CV copy to your interviewer, not an issue. But don't give too much of information in handouts to anybody, because people will be going through that only. They will not listen to your talk. People should listen to you, right? So suppose in today's scenario, suppose you're giving a PPT presentation, your points can come in the slides. But you should not be looking at the slides and talking. You should be looking at the audience, right? So the handout means, suppose you have if you have a picture, all your points you put it in a pictorial way. Create one picture and put it. People will like it. The picture has got a lot of impact than the text part. Yep, as I told you, right? Even if you're using text should be very clear. The font should be higher in size. You can use diagrams, pictures, and do not fill your slides with too much of text. Yeah. For example, the man who's talking, I mean, whomever is presenting, I'll tell you, your energy level you slowly passing to the audience. For example, today it's Saturday evening, right? Suppose I'm sitting here, have a good energy level, audience should be smiling. What will happen? Within 15-20 minutes, I'll make you guys sleep. Exactly that will happen. So make sure that you have proper energy level and eat sufficiently, not too much. For example, especially if you are having a heavy lunch, and there's every chance the audience will have a tendency to sleep. You will be standing or sitting and sleeping. So make sure that your stomach is only half full when you are going and presenting something. And always smile at people, right? Don't show a serious face to anybody. Keep positive, good body language. It's a very long area. I would suggest you please go to a YouTube channel and listen to positive body language. For example, the guy is talking about, right? Suppose you are talking about 4 or 5 points. Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, point number 4, so point number 5. Good way of expressing 5 points. People appreciate that. Again, don't give any negative things. Like I've seen some people doing this. Some people scratching here, back, all sort of things. No, at least for that period when you are presenting, make sure that you have a very presentable, positive body language in front of you. Yep, that's it. So we will go back to the presentation again. Okay. I'll have to share it again. Yeah, you can see my slide, right? I hope you can see my slides, right? Yes, sir. Thank you. So, the basics of communication based on the whatever you have seen right now. These are some of the basic principles of communication. It is two-way, means it is not one way. It is outcome-based, means it is all depends upon the impact what you create, not about what you spoke, how many hours you spoke. No one cares about that. 10 minutes if you spoke also good enough, but you should have an output. Feedback matters, means what you get from the audience, your students, your whomever you speak, how much he understood, how much he has responded based on what you spoke. That's what matters. What you spoke, no one cares. And flow of energy, your energy should be good. Connect matters. How you connect means when you talk to students, it's a different language. When you talk to parents, it's a different way of talking to the parents. When you talk to teachers, it's a different way of talking to them. Because I conduct programs for several category of people, and I recently I got an opportunity to talk to the Christian fathers. So when you talk to them, you have to talk in a different way. It's all about the context. So the context matters, means what time you speak, whether they are in a good mood or bad mood, all those things you should look at. The world of emotions, use your emotions, smile at people. Suppose you are talking about a sentimental stuff, show that sentiments on your face. When you're talking a very serious stuff, that's not the way to talk, right? So serious stuff, when you feel, they should feel you are also talking that seriously. It's all about non-verbal, not just the verbal part. 70 to 80% of your presentation effectiveness depends upon your non-verbal part of it. People remember stories. I'm coming to that part. If whatever you say, connect it with one story, because in today's world, people are always stressed out. So use some fun, use some story in between. People will remember, people will listen to what you're saying. I'm coming to that part because there is an area called art of storytelling. I'll share you some thoughts about that part itself. You make it happen. Means it is the presenter's responsibility. I've seen many people talking about, my audience now, stupid fellows, they never listen to what I said. But the reality is, the effectiveness of the objective, the responsibility of the presentation lies with the presenter. You make it happen, not the audience. It has got a serious impact on your career. In terms of long-term career growth, as a manager, as a leader, it is your communication skills and interpersonal skills plays the major role. Today, when you hire a company, hire a CEO also, they look at your interpersonal skills, your ability to interact with others, and your ability to communicate. These are the two things people look at. Your knowledge and all those things are all last priority. People say IQ. Sorry, intellectual quotient also, nowadays, it doesn't play much importance. So work on these areas. It is going to help you. So these are some of the time, you see fillers. Look at these fillers. Are you using these fillers quite often? For example, some people now, when they repeatedly, whenever they talk, every sentence, it's okay, yeah. Actually, not only, but also, end of the day, definitely, every sentence he will say, definitely, come on, yeah, yes, you are, who is, yeah. So what you should do is, these things actually irritate people. So if you're using fillers, you need to count on that. Two things you should be looking at. One is, why use fillers most of the time is, you might be talking very fast. Reduce the speed. As I told you, the buffering in your brain, your temporary memory to buffer to permanent memory. So keep items in your buffer area for a longer time means more chance for that matter going to the permanent memory. So because the objective of presentation is basically to get somebody convinced and he acting on the basis of whatever you say, right? So you might be using these fillers because you're talking very fast. Sometimes, it's good as a habit. How to get rid of that is, you speak in front of a mirror, or you record your talk, or you ask your friends, am I using any words repeatedly? The best way is actually put your phone in front of, talk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes on about one subject. Again, you talk about another subject, and you yourself can find it. Am I repeating any words? Then deliberately work on those words. Let's be assured, I'll tell you, you are more than what you think. You can correct those things. Now, finally, I have this topic. Just coming back to this topic. This is the last thing which I will be discussing in today's session. As I told you, right? I told all of you guys to become good storytellers. There is a reason behind it. The reason is, in today's world, the whole world is crowded with information, and nobody is interested in listening to anything. But even in a crowded, stressed out world, I will tell you, people would like to listen to stories. So how stories can make an impact? Let's go through this. Listen to this is an advertisement, right? This is a very good advertisement. I want you guys to listen to this advertisement.
Peter, come take a look at this. The numbers, they keep getting bigger and bigger.
Clicks are off the chart.
Yeah.
Yoshi. 12. Get back. Take a look at Woodfall. Everything's out right now.
Watch this part very carefully.
Loves that thing.
So guys, what was that ad? It was an ad from Adobe on their new analytics tool. Nothing else. The whole story was about, a kid pressing on a laptop and somebody else mistaking that click, continuous click, saying that, there is, what all stories you saw in between, how the whole thing gets evolved. By seeing that whole video, what happens is you get just glued into that video, right? This is what art of storytelling, which I mean. Now, try to develop it. It's a skill which you can develop, and you can learn it actually. So again, you go to YouTube, you can find art of storytelling. People might laugh at you on all these things, but these are scientific principles. People like us, because I had a multinational company spread across 10 countries. My job is this. I keep going and talking, and every week talking in conferences, runs it to hundreds of people. So it's my job, to make sure that, those people whom I present, they listen to me, like what I'm doing to you guys. So your time also matters, right? You also expect some takeaways from these sessions. So same way, there are techniques and practices people could develop. And by following this, this is what you get. When you say, especially when you are following the art of storytelling, I mean, I gave you, right, that one slide. So the art of storytelling will help you to express your viewpoint, helps you to hold the audience with you, and people like to listen to stories and develop this habit. It is worth trying it. So this is my last slide, and I will take questions from now. Okay, and as I told you, right, presentation is the most important thing. This is one skill which you could develop. The reason I also told in the beginning, we engineers normally mistake that our engineering skills is the one which will help me in growing in my life. As I told you in the beginning, studies say that it is your ability to communicate with people, even if you have ideas, no use, because no one cares about it, right? So your ability to communicate those ideas, your technical knowledge to somebody, their way, able to influence people. There's a concept called influential thought leadership itself. So that subject also evolving around your ability to influence, ability to communicate. So in that itself, ability to present something to others is what matters. So I wish you guys all the best. I hope this session would motivate you guys to improve your presentation skills. Now you might ask, in this COVID era where we are working online, listening online, how do we do this? Simple technique. Two things you can do. One is at your individual level. keep preparing for some presentations. As I told you, the introduction, compartments, points, and conclusion. Talk in front of the mirror. Keep doing that on a regular basis. Try for 1 month. You will see the difference. Only thing is you have to tell your parents and your people at home, see, I am practicing presentation skills. Otherwise, they will take you to nearby hospital. They will think that, something has gone wrong with my son or daughter. So you just tell them, I'm practicing it. The second thing what you could do is form a group of say 5 or 10 people, students, and present each other. Maybe you can ask somebody who's good in communication also, or your professor also as a moderator. They can also give you pointers. There are multiple ways to work on this. Now, if you have any questions of anything of this sort, that I could take up. There was one question I think somebody raised me. So you can either ask or chat in type, or you can talk in any language. I'm open. Please.
Sir, I asked about the eye contact you explained before.
Okay, so
hello.
Okay.
I will explain. My question is how we can contact with both eyes. Suppose if I have a eye contact with you, I can only concentrate on either your left eye or right eye. That is my question. And one more, is this any scientific background for this, or you explained only basis of experience? That's my second question.
Yeah, there are a lot of studies in this area. You could Google about the scientific evidences for these things. That I'm a living example. And in fact, when I came for my MBA, after engineering, I came to Bangalore. I was rated as one of the last in my presentation skills in my class, in MBA class. But then using through training, I worked on it, and when I was leaving the campus, I got completely transformed. Today, you won't believe, I conduct coaching sessions for improving communication skills. So these things actually comes with experience, some with the practice. In fact, there are techniques like neuroscience, where we have a research team in my organization, where those guys, the marketing people, they work on those kind of things also. An image, a sound, a video, what you see, what kind of impact it creates in our brain. So that level, I don't want you guys to go. But when we release something, the content what we produce in India, it goes to social media, it goes to print magazines. So before we release the content, that kind of study we do. How people could perceive this content, a picture what you release, that's the level of studies nowadays going. Now, about your first question, actually, you only know that, how many people you are watching. This is a perception game. In your classroom, there might be 50 people or 500 people. For you, even 1,000 you add also, it's okay. So you are looking at everybody, and actually you are not looking at anybody. That's a smart part of the game. You are not looking at any particular individual. You are looking at everybody, but looking into everybody's eyes. You keep moving your eyes, and because of that, everybody gets a feeling that you are looking at me. You are looking at you're looking at that. Only one area where we should be careful is, I've seen sometimes this mistake. What is happening, there might be a smart girl or a boy who's sitting. Sometimes we then make this mistake. One lady might be sitting in that corner. She might be very smart. We tend to look at the lady quite often. That could fire back. So uniformly, everybody, it will work. And this is a perception game, as I told you, right? It's a perception game, and you are able to manage this properly. And once in a while, you cut your front row also, because front row guys in general, right? They don't create trouble much. In general, there are people like me who used to come to the front row and sleep. Oh, Purana story, eh? But then, even now you can find such people. So it is about creating that feel with everybody that, you are looking at everybody uniformly. Even suppose somebody is trying to sleep in your class. Just give a smile and look at that fellow's eyes. Believe me, they will try to hold open their eyes as much as possible. In general, I can say, because that is the power of your eyes. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. There are some questions coming. Great. When some company organization asks to send a presentation or audio, maybe non-technical part of any role, what are main points we need to care? Okay, online mode. It's a very good question because today most of your interviews will be online. Tomorrow you might be joining some companies also online. Companies are sending laptops also to your residence. That's what is happening right now. Okay, couple of things which you should be taking care of. First of all, you should understand the guy who is interviewing you, he is also having similar problem. He is also working from home. So nothing to worry. It's a common problem. Second, make sure that you have sending or send your presentation audio in advance, right? Then it's very easy for you. When you are presenting online, only more problems comes in because you don't have to can't do trial and error, right? If you're doing online, make sure that you have a good bandwidth. If you're using Wi-Fi, tell everybody at your home that please cut Wi-Fi of all other devices. Even if they are playing some videos on their mobile phone also, ask them if it's an online interview, you might move from your Wi-Fi to your phone network immediately. Suppose the same service provider is there at home, tell them please don't use video at this point of time. I'm completing, right? Take care of this as a backup. Suppose still if you're facing problem with the video, you tell them, sir, I have a problem with the video. Can I move to audio? Ask that. People will agree. Okay, you don't have to worry about that, but tell that, sir, I'm facing this problem. But make sure that you do some trials using Google Meet or something, or even Zoom kind of platform is available free, right? Do some tests, trials. That should not be the first way you are doing, right? You should not do as a trial on the interview day. Do this in advance. Second thing is that the third thing is actually whatever you are sending should be in a format. If they are asking you to send it in advance, send it in an MP4, that kind of general format. Don't send any proprietary videos because people like me, I keep getting this kind of things, and eventually we are not able to see anything from that. These are the tips which I have. Other thing is actually with the live video, make sure that your background is clean. Close the door because people might jump in because you are at home, right? You might have your younger kids means at home, sister or brother. He might come and dance in behind you. Those are things you should avoid. I mean, you should tell your parents or somebody, make sure that there is no disturbance. Suppose you are able to get a place which is peaceful. Suppose you're at home, you don't have a facility. See whether ask anybody's help, whether any place where you can get for attending that. It's worth. Somebody might help you. Get to know about various upcoming events, seminars, blogs. Okay. Somebody has done a promo of his events. Thank you. Very good for him. I'm looking for questions. Anybody has got any questions? We can try to vote. Okay, sir, can you please share more with us about the formals that we can put on interviews, about its color? Great. When I say formals, I mean full sleeve shirts. That's what I mean. Ideally, go for light shades. Okay, avoid very bright colors. Okay, because we are not going for a party, right? This color what I'm using, it's okay. I mean, light blue. I have multiple light blue shirts. The very simple reason light blue is treated as a corporate color. Okay, again, colors like red, avoid it. Dark green, avoid it. Any kind of dark, very bright, showy colors, light colors. I'll tell you the reason. We Indians actually we have a brown skin, unfortunately. Fortunately, unfortunately, I'm proud of that. To be frank, having because I work with my colleagues in US, Europe, in other countries, where we had a uniform in our company, wherein finally recently we said we don't want that uniform shirt because it's a purple color. Purple works very well for white skin, not for Indians. So wear a light color shirt, okay, and iron it properly. It's very important. Suppose you're traveling to somewhere, make sure that whatever shirt you ironed, keep it in. Sometimes you fold everything and put it in your bag. No, don't do that. Take some other cover or not a cover. I can say a small box. Put your shirt in that, so that it doesn't get wrinkles, right? So Minimal such things. And again, if suppose you have a habit of mush, cut it properly, trim it properly. I'm okay you having a beard also. It's okay. But that beard should be kept properly. Not like you're straight away coming from a bar. No. Somebody should feel like hiring you, right? That's okay. Any other questions? You can even ask. You can even unmute and ask questions. You can ask even in Malayalam. You can ask questions. I have no issues. Any more questions? You can even type. That's the best part. Nobody will know. You can circle one college I did in Kerala. They were not comfortable in typing in English. I said, Malayalam, you type in English. Then you can see the number of questions coming. Very good questions they were typing. The only problem was they have problem in English. Absolutely fine. So you can type even in Malayalam and English. I should be able to. So this is another habit which I request all of you as part of improving your communication skills. Tomorrow when you go for an interview, when you get a chance to ask questions, that's a golden opportunity in your life. Utilize that opportunity to ask the right questions. Not stupid questions, like keep some questions ready. Okay, about the company, about your career growth. If I join the company, sir, how I can grow. Sir, your company is having operations into so many areas. I am very much interested in, a particular area. Do you think I can work? And do some more groundwork about the company's the share price. Suppose it's a listed company, how much is the share price today? Where you think the share price will it grow? Will it go down? That type of study also you do, because the company is looking for an employee who is interested in this company, right? So you need to be asking also in your CV also. Prepare your CV. I've seen many a time people copying CV. Please don't do that. Your CV should be your CV. There should be something good about what you're talking about. Okay. Is there any tips to crack telephonic interviews? It is more or less the same thing. That prepare a good introduction about yourself. Keep that ready. Again, if somebody might ask you an introduction about yourself, you can ask, sir, would you like to know more about my personal background or my professional interest? Ask. Suppose he says, talk more about your personal, means people like to know more about your family background. All are at home. Are you the only son? How many kids are there? What they are? So by you asking that question, sir, you would like to know more about my personal background or about my professional interest, the interviewer will be happy to get such questions. So all of you, I suggest, keep a brief introduction about yourself, record it, and listen to yourself or show that to somebody. So that makes sense. Okay, the next question, is there any way to improve our interpersonal skills in the time of pandemic? Extremely good question, sir. Actually, as I told you, right, it is the interpersonal skills and the ability to communicate make a person. So the best way to improve our interpersonal skills is we changing our outlook about ourselves. That first thing is accept that we are human beings. Human being means I should talk to my friends, right? I should have some good friends. And it has got a serious issue as far as the pandemic situation itself. Today, a lot of people are getting into liquor addiction, drug addiction, depression, suicides. You know why that is happening? Because they don't have good friends. So develop good friends. Keep talking to them. Keep talking to them in video mode. It's very important. Because when you talk to them, you can see that fellow's action, response, his expression, feelings, all sort of things, right? So keep talking to your friends on a regular basis. That's the first thing what you should do. Second thing is have some group activity. Instead of talking one-to-one alone, you form some 2-3 people. You guys play cards, right? Why can't you have online card playing? Practice it, yeah? Simple techniques. There are some games you can play online also, right? In video mode itself. See whether you can develop that. Being in pandemic, actually, don't give up. These are the techniques which you can try yourself. You can beat it. You can beat this pandemic by your own techniques. So develop this habit of interpersonal skills. Talk to more people. Smile at people. It's actually it's a good habit. I've seen some people, it's very difficult to get a smile out of their face. Very serious fellows. Getting that fellow smile, it's something like somebody getting a world record. Keep smiling. People like you smile because God has given you a very good face, right? Smile. Keep smiling. Not like full time on the road. It's no, I say nahi. When you see somebody, he should feel that you are smiling, right? When you see a good, your girlfriend, what do? You smile at her. You not stare at her. Right? She likes you because of the way you smile at her. Same way, when you see a professor, don't stare at the professor. Yeah, smile at the professor because the professor is also having a lot of tension. So in today's world, that is a big problem. So you smile at people. A smile has got a huge impact. Keep smiling at people at home, at your friend circle, to as many people. Okay. Is there any problem to share our own views on specific subject which they don't feel good? Okay. This could be your political views or religious views. Okay. If it is an interview, to be frank, please make sure that you're a professional there. You're not a communist there. You're not a BJP guy there. You're not a religious guy there. They are looking at you as an engineer, as a professional. Keep aside your personal views there. You can say, sir, I might have my personal opinion here, but then I'm a professional. As a professional, sir, this is what I should do. Your answer should be as that of a professional. You might have this is something which guys who are coming from Kerala, because we have highly politicized state. So we might have very strong political views. That's okay. You can say that. So I have a personal view. But then if I'm a professional, in the organization, my job is basically to take a decision in the interest of the organization and my colleagues and my customer. This is what I will do. Many times, actually, as a head of the multinational company, we have a British system, British laws, British legal system, ethics, and practices towards multicultural, religious, and ethics towards ladies. Whole lot of things which comes to my mind when I take a decision. I might have a different opinion about that subject, but then when I sit on the chair, my decision, for example, you might see that many times the principal, when he takes a decision, you might think, why principal is behaving like this? Because sitting on the chair, that's all what he should do. So your personal views probably might be of secondary importance. Your professional views, that matters. So read a little more, especially before you're going for an interview. Previous day newspapers, on even that day morning, what all is there in the newspaper. Today, newspaper nobody reads, but everything is available on social media, right? And can you specify some reason for rejection in any interviews? Okay, there are multiple reasons. First of all, in today's scenario, there might be 5 vacancies, 50 people apply. Naturally, the chances of getting in is less than 10%. Correct? That could be one reason. Many times what happens is, it is very small mistakes what we do. Your CV should be a marketing brochure. Make sure that you have a good CV. So you can catch hold of somebody like Arjun. He helps a lot of people in terms of conducting programs. Get one of your guys who can prepare a good CV. How a good CV can be prepared. Please don't copy, because many times I've seen that from one college everybody sends a CV. All CV looks the same. Then better you interview one person, right? Why are you interviewing 50 people from that college? The third one is actually, we don't project, we don't sell. There's a problem with Indians. If you look at the white skin, whether it's American or European, they're born to sell, man. There's a way they project and talk bindas about themselves. We don't do that. We've been told from childhood by our parents, don't talk too much, yeah. Don't talk about yourself. Don't project yourself. I'm telling you, if you don't project yourself, who will project yourself, right? This is not boasting. It's talking about, this is what I'm good at. Talk that confidently. So the next portion is the confidence. People should feel like, you are a confident person, whatever you know. And the fourth point is actually your ability to say no. I don't know. Nobody expects you to know everything. Please don't tell lies and bullshitting in front of the interviewer. I have sit in many interview panels for different types of organizations. Sometimes I go as a observer, external observer also. We ask some very serious questions. To be frank, actually, to ask questions, we don't need not know the answer also, right? I can ask any question. I needed to know the answer also. That's a fact. So I ask questions about question subject which I don't even know. But then, from the way the candidate is responding, we can make out some bullshit. Because there is a subject expert sitting there. I look at that person. That person tells, sorry, he's bullshitting. We encourage that fellow. Ask more questions. We keep on telling again lies. And we enjoy it. This is what happens in many interviews, provided the interviewer is having time. Nowadays, interviewers are also busy. They don't have time. They look at. So I told you, the first impression is the best impression. Do that first part, initial introduction, do it very clearly. Whenever you communicate, the language what we use in mails, do that edits properly. There are tools like Grammarly. A lot of tools are available today. Do a spell check properly. Many times people don't do that, such things. So do your homework properly. You do your preparations properly. The better you prepare, actually, better the chance for your success. And again, increase your networking skills. I don't know how many of you are having a LinkedIn account. I suggest please open your LinkedIn account. Reach out to at least your seniors. Through them, reach out to some industry leaders. That's the way you increase your networking. Today, 60 to 70% of recruitment in the industry happens through referrals and networks. So this is where actually people like Arjun can help you. Reach out to your own seniors in Bangalore and other cities. That's the first part you should do. If you don't have enough, I don't know. Many of you are active in Facebook and Instagram and other places, but the place as a professional, if you're looking for your career, where you should be active is LinkedIn, not anywhere else. Again, what you post in social media also matters. I've seen many a times actually, whenever I meet a senior candidate, most of the time I meet in my company, and before I meet the guy, I look at his social media, what he writes, what type of things he's doing. Many a times they do some absurd nonsense. And I direct my questions indirectly to that kind of post. And they act like they don't even know about that post. I don't even refer to that. I'm seeing a difference in opinion, what you are telling in social media and what you're talking right now. No, I just got what I wanted. Okay, so any more questions? I think I covered all those things, questions which you guys have raised. If any more questions, I can. Okay, one more thing. Can you explain any pre-mental exercises like meditation or? Okay, cool. This is something which you guys could practice actually before getting into any kind of interview or anything. Take 10 times a deep breath, because when you take a deep breath, your BP comes down. Suppose you're having a habit of meditation or yoga, very good. Now, at least I suggest, at least morning half or evening half, go for a walk, because body produces two types of hormones, positive hormones and negative hormones. If you really want more positive hormones in your body, exercise matters. Do proper exercise. And before getting into any of these kind of calls, telephonic interview or anything, as I told you, don't look at your phone. Don't take phones from any unknown. I'm talking about anybody who can give you a disturbing message. Don't do that. Just focus. Listen to music. You won't believe. In a day, anywhere between 30 to 40 music songs I listen in a day. Koi language, doesn't matter. Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, English, Spanish, whatever, Latin music, I listen. Not that, I am a musician, but then I know this is something which can help me to cool down, because the kind of pressure on me, what comes to my table as a head of the organization, only my managers, what they cannot solve only will come to my table, right? It won't be a good thing most of the time. So if you get hit on your heart, it's not good for our health also. So the only way you can keep yourself motivated and keep yourself engaged and cool down is do some practices like this. It will really help you. There are other techniques also. I mean, as you join the corporate, you will learn sitting in a chair itself how you can do relaxation. There are techniques, you know, telling your body from top to bottom how you can release your stress. There are techniques. Okay, and that's it. So I hope this 1 hour 42 minutes session was not 1 hour, right? This is 1 hour 15 minutes, correct? Yep. This was useful for you guys. I wish you guys all the best. I'm sure that you guys all will improve on your communication skills because you understood that how important this that in your long-term career. Wish you all a great success in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Shinto sir. Thank you so much.
So we have come to the end of a memorable and informative webinar. I would like to mention our deep sense of appreciation for Mr. Shinto Joseph for his explanation on presentation skills. We are really grateful to have had such an eminent person today. I may also like to express our sincere thanks to GCW Alumni Association, especially Mr. Arjun Sundareshan, and I also extend my thanks to all of you present here for your support and participation. I'm sorry I missed someone too. I thank Ms. Gilesh sir and Shabi sir for giving this opportunity to host this webinar today. I cannot thank everyone for your involvement today. I hope this webinar will help you in your future. Anyway, see you all next week. Bye.
Thank you, guys. See you next week. Bye bye. Good night.
Happy weekend, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, Shinto sir, once again. Bye.
Bye.